So good morning. Welcome back to Papa's Plants. I'm Papa. So today we're going to be talking about Japanese maples. I love Japanese maples. I've been growing them for a few years now. I've been collecting for a few years, but I found out that people really love them and want them in their landscape. So what we got to do today is talk about how we can provide the Japanese maples for the locals here. And what we're going to be talking about is seeds, where to get the seeds, how to prepare the seeds so they'll germinate in the spring. We're going to be talking about seedlings, um, bringing in plants or purchasing plants from wholesale growers, and what to do to those to prepare those to sell the following spring. So I've been doing it one way for the last couple of years. My plans are to change this year and do things a little bit differently. So we're going to be getting into that. So you guys hang around. We'll be right back. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start talking about today is the Japanese maple seed. So Olivia and I, last weekend, last Sunday afternoon after services, we went to a couple of friends' house that each had a Japanese maple, but there were two different types. One was a green Japanese maple with variegated leaves, and one was a red Japanese maple. And it was a nice red. It was still holding its color pretty good when we collected the seeds last week, and so I'm hoping we're going to get some nice red seedlings out of that particular tree. Now, um, collecting the seeds is pretty self-explanatory. The seeds they ripen this time of year. The green tree, green maple, it's got that variegated leaf or cut leaf, and it's got some pretty small seeds. I'll show them to you. Hopefully you can see those. But it's nice seeds. They're small, a little bit small, but they're nice and ripe, ready to go. And then that red maple that we collected at a different friend's house, those seeds are a little bit bigger, but you can see the red wings on there. Nice. Okay, so we're going to get these prepared. So these will sprout in the spring, and these are super easy. I'm not going to actually go through the process, but I'm just going to tell you quickly about what we do. But you take these seeds that I just showed you, and they've got wings on them. And I like to break the wings off from the seed. So I've just got the little nugget on the end, the little round seed on the end, and not the wing itself. So I break those off, clean them up, get rid of all the excess material, the leaves or whatever that may happen to be in the bag, and then we're going to store them in the refrigerator over the winter for approximately 90 to 100 days. So these are Tupperware, knockoff Tupperware that I got from the dollar store. I picked these up Friday. The wife doesn't let me use the good stuff, so these cost me a couple of dollars or so, $2 or $3 at the dollar store. So what we're going to do, we're going to clean off the wings. We're going to get down to just the seeds. Then we're going to take some peat moss, slightly moistened. You don't want it wet. You just want it moist or damp. I guess it may be a better way of putting it. You're going to take all your seeds, mix it in with enough peat moss to fill this up about 3/4 of the way. Mix it up good, put a lid on it. Going to take a Sharpie, and we're going to put the date on the lid when we prepared it to put it in the refrigerator. We're going to do that to both of these in two separate containers. Now, after that, I'm going to take my cell phone and I'm going to put in my calendar 90 days from that day. I'm not going to open these up. People say you need to open them up, burp them, or whatever the case may be every few weeks. So I don't do that. I just put them way back in the back of the refrigerator and forget all about them. And then in about 90 days, when the calendar goes off, I need to go check them. I simply do that. I take them out of the refrigerator, I open them up, I look inside and see if there's anything going on. If not, put the lid right back on, stick them right back in the refrigerator, set my calendar for a week later. And what I'm doing is I am waiting on the seeds to start literally germinating, and they will. They'll do that in the refrigerator. People say you got to pull them out, put them in warm, in a warm room and all that. Let them warm up, then they'll germinate. No, sir. They will actually start germinating in the refrigerator. So I pull them out every week or so until I see that little white root, the little tiny tap root, start protruding from the seed. And when that happens, then I'm ready to start them. I'll take trays. Doesn't have to be this count tray. I think this is a 72 count tray. It could be whatever you want it to be. It could be 48 count, 30 count, whatever. I like these because they're not very big around, but they're pretty deep, and that allows that little maple seed to send down a root to help establish that seedling. So this is what I use, and I use this because of room. I can get a lot of plants in a small amount of space. So I'll take all these little seeds that have a taproot or a tiny root that's protruding. I'll put them just regular potting mix. I'll plant them in there, root down, put just a quarter inch of soil over the top of them, and then I stick them under lights because see a lot of times mine will get started in late January, early February. So and it's just too cold outside for that little seedling. So I'll stick them under lights, and I'll have several trays of these going. I'll stick them under lights until I'm pretty sure that we're not going to get any more frost, even on some days where it may get down close to frost. But especially on weekends when I'm here, I'll actually take the trays and bring them outside and set them in a little bit of dapple shade and let them start hardening off that way. But anyhow, look, these things are amazing. If you've got a really fertile tree, like these two trees that I collect from are super fertile. These things have great germination rates. And so this is the way I prepare my seeds every year, and this is how I get them started in the spring. Okay, so we're talking about Japanese maple seeds. I wanted to add a little something, and that is, when I first decided that I wanted to provide Japanese maples to the locals here from the backyard nursery, I was looking for a supplier, looking for someone that could provide the plants to me. So I reached out to a couple of people, and I found a small wholesale nursery, I guess, and they provided Japanese maples. I think they were $1.35 a piece, but they were just little 6, 8 inch seedlings, um, and they were pretty fragile. Um, but hey, I potted them up, and they some of them took off. Well, I got a pretty good percentage that actually made it, but I grew those out, and and I knew when I bought them, I really didn't have any idea what I was getting. I had no idea what kind of Japanese maple tree that these seeds or seedlings came from. But I took a chance and I grew them out and I sold a few and they did okay. But I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not going to pay. Not only am I not, I'm not going to pay anything for seedlings. Not $1.35, not anything. When I can provide my own seedlings for free. Basically, all I've got in there right now is just a couple of hours last Sunday where me and my granddaughter Olivia went out and collected the seeds, and then I'm going to have an hour maybe or so to prepare the seeds, um, to overwinter them in the refrigerator. So I mean, really no cost. So that's the route that I'm heading now. That's the direction that my backyard nursery is heading. So every dollar I save is a dollar in Papa's pocket. So that's what we're going to be doing. And that's some of the changes that we're going to be making. So just wanted to throw that in. Okay, so now I wanted to show you some of the fruits of my labor. This bag of seeds I showed you a little bit ago is from this a friend of mine's got the green lace leaf Japanese maple. Well, these maples you see right here growing are seedlings that I planted last year. Now these have just got 1 year of growth on them, and you can see uh, being a seedling, and we've talked about in the past that the seeds or the plants that come from the seeds from a particular Japanese maple doesn't produce a clone of that tree. It produces a seedling, and it could have all kinds of different traits. But so we'll talk about first of all, look at the difference in the size of these two. This particular one right here is probably 18 inches, maybe even 20 inches tall. This one right here is maybe 7 or 8 inches tall. But so let's look at this one first. Let's get it in the shot. So you can see that is your everyday run-of-the-mill green Japanese maple. And let's pick out another one. Now this one, same seed. See the leaves on that thing, how it's got those cut leaves? Beautiful little maple. And of course, we got this big guy here. It's also got the cut leaf on them. I just love those. And then I brought this one out. I wanted to show you just for the color. Now, I know it's in the fall, and I know these things, turn red or in the fall, but uh, most of these maples have just started turning. This one is actually a lot more red than any of the rest of them, but this one had like a little bit of a red tint to it all year. Even though it came from a green Japanese maple, you still get all kinds of different variations. So it's going to be a beautiful little plant right here. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to guess. I'm going to say I probably started about 200 seeds last year, and I ended up with probably 190 plants or so. I haven't really counted them, but there's a bunch of them. But I just wanted to show you just what you can get in 1 year's growth. Like I said, that's probably a good 20 inches in 1 year. That's going to be that plant right there will be ready to sell middle of the summer next year. So, all right, just wanted to show you what kind of results we're getting off of doing our own seeds. Okay, let's talk quickly about the seedlings that I just showed you. The little Japanese maples that I grew from seed and got 1 year of growth on them. They are in dapple shade, probably 90% dapple shade all day. They get a little sun, not much, but they're tender. They're young, first year, and I'm just looking for them to get some growth this year and get a nice root system. So next spring, I'll stick those Japanese maples. I'll stick them in full sun in the spring. I'll let them go until I notice a little bit of maybe where they're getting just a little bit stressed from the central Georgia sun in the summer here. But I'll let them go all spring, full sun. When I see that they're getting just a little bit stressed, then I'll start pulling them back. And probably by late summer, mid to late summer, I'll have them back into a dapple shade area so they can finish off the year. But you want to get them in the springtime, especially when it's still sort of cool. You want to get full sun on them. Look, these Japanese maple seedlings, they can take it. Full sun on them, get as much growth out of them as you can. That's the first of the second year, and then start pulling them. And really, at that point, you start pulling them, take them to the market because they're ready. So, just want to talk to you a little bit about that for the second year. Your seedlings from the first year, how you grow them out that second year. Okay, so now here are my 3 to 4 foot Japanese maples, my inventory for next spring in the backyard nursery. Brought these in early first of the year. I think they came in January, February, and grew these out all spring and summer. And so there's probably, I don't know, 75 or 80 here ready to certainly going to be ready to sell next spring. But I wanted to show you the difference in seedlings. These two trees grown from the same seeds. If you buy a red Japanese maple seedling, that's what you sort of want to, that's what you're expecting, right? And not necessarily expecting that. But that's all a part of getting seedlings. Even though the seed comes from a red Japanese maple, and you will get red Japanese maple seeds or plants from seeds, but you also can very easily get an everyday run-of-the-mill green Japanese maple. But now it'll still sell. I'll be able to get a few more dollars for one like this than I can like this, but that's all nature of the beast. So, like I said, I brought these in from a wholesaler. I paid $8 a piece for them, and when I say they were whips, I mean literally they were just a quarter of an inch diameter trunk with and no branching, with just a little bit of a root system on the end. And I bought 100, and out of the 100, I probably had 92 or 4 that made it into the spring. And I sold a few last year that branched out pretty nice. But let me show you what I will do this year. We talked a little bit about this earlier. I told you what I would do. So I'm gonna back up here and let you see the whole pot. This may be a little challenging to see what I'm talking about, but I'll come up here and I'll take that off. Take every bit of that off right there this winter. I'll take it off right there, and then I'll let that branch out again. And all these lower branches, they'll continue to get bigger. And this will be a pretty tree to sell next spring. One of the neighbor's kittens. All right. Okay, I want to show you one more thing. This is my patch of seedlings that I grew out from seed. Again, put them in late fall last year, potted them up early spring this year, and that's the growth that we've got off of them. So now this is 1 year versus second year. One on the left is one of the seedlings I was just showing you, one of the taller seedlings, and the one on the right is it's after its second full year. So just want to show you what you could get with just a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, a little bit of care. You can buy these seedlings, you can bring them in, or these trees, you can bring them in for $1, $1.35. You can bring them in for $8, or you can search around in the area and find you someone that's got a red Japanese or cut leaf Japanese, different varieties that are fertile, putting off really nice plump seeds. Harvest them, go ahead and put them in the refrigerator, and yeah, grow them out next spring. So that's what we do. All right, guys, we're going to end it right there. We've talked about Japanese seeds, seedlings, 4-foot trees, and what I do to provide my nursery with stock to have to sell in the springtime every year. So like I've been showing you, I've got about 100 seedlings or so that I grew last year, or this last year, this last spring and summer. And we're going to up our game this year. I've got probably, I hope I've got 1,000 plus green maple seeds and red maple seeds. So I hope I've got over 2,000 seeds that we're going to be putting in the refrigerator and letting those sit all winter, and then we're going to get those ready to put in our trays in the springtime. If it all works out like I got planned, I should have over 200 trees started next year, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to up our game now. A lot of those should be have nice red color to them. Those will sell great. Some of the green ones that have the nice cut leaf, they'll sell great. What doesn't sell, we're going to use them as rootstock. We're going to take some of these special varieties that I own already that are planted in the ground. We're going to take and start taking some scion cuttings from them, and we're going to start grafting some of those onto this green Japanese maple stock. And then there you go. We're just going to keep growing and growing and growing and expanding and expanding. And that's what you've got to do. Yes, you can buy those $1.35 seedlings to get started. Yes, you can buy those $8 trees to get started. But to make the big money, you've got to produce your own plants. So I'm not paying $8 for any more trees. I'm paying zero from now on for any trees. I'm going to be producing them from seed myself, and so hopefully we'll have several good years to come. So guys, again, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you that have already subscribed. I encourage you, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It'll really help me with the YouTube algorithm. So until next time, we'll see you next week.